Hello and welcome to We the People. Has the IPL now become India's political league? This question has been raised as the IPL authorities hastily accepted a demand led by Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalithaa but backed by several other Tamil parties to keep Sri Lanka's cricket players out of the IPL matches that are being held in Chennai. Cricket authorities readily complied, saying that this was being done for the safety of the players. But it raises a wider question on whether our politicians are playing games with sports. Are they in fact playing spoil sports? Or is sports and politics interlinked in ways that perhaps we don't recognize or don't acknowledge? Take cricket, for example, once described as war by another name, but often used to boost diplomacy between countries like India and Pakistan as well. So can we crib when sports and politics invariably overlap? Before I go to the two major politicians who are representing us from the DMK and the AIDMK, I'd like to get a diplomat's perspective to begin with. Mr. Parthasarathi is somebody who has been the Rajiv Gandhi's point person on Sri Lanka, but also served as Pakistan's High Commissioner to Pakistan. Do you believe what we see happening today, where you have a demand that is placed by the major Tamil Nadu parties, Jayalalithaa writes a letter to the Prime Minister, and actually there isn't even an attempt to negotiate, to get these parties to change their mind, it's just readily accepted in a matter of minutes. Is this healthy?
Well, let me say sports and politics cannot be delinked. After all, South Africa for apartheid was kept out of sports for two decades. Then the British tried to ban Zimbabwe. And we all refused, saying that they said there were human rights violations, like is now being said in Sri Lanka. Then if you carry this human rights business logically forward, then you can't play cricket with England. They killed about 30,000 Iraqis, and that's documented figures. So these things have to be determined on a broad consensus within the cricketing world. With regard, therefore, Pakistan, we get into problems when there is terrorism and they kill Indians. We don't stop playing with England because they're killing Iraqis or whatever has happened in Sri Lanka.
It's when it impacts us.
Now, the fact of the matter is, in this case, Barka, I think the Indian Premier League is not a cricket tournament. It is a commercial money spinning venture. In this particular case, all right, you couldn't play in Chennai. But the answer to that is Chennai has to pay a price for that. And therefore, rather than banning, forcing other teams to drop Sri Lankan superstars because they can't go to Chennai, Chennai Super Kings for those matches should be asked to go and play outside Chennai when there are teams from which carry players from Sri Lanka. And the only reason this hasn't been done, I'll be quite candid to this audience, is because the President of the Board of Control of Cricket in India is also the financier and profit maker of Chennai Super Kings. So I think the decision by the cricket board was wrong, that the decision should have been otherwise, that all right, Chennai doesn't want it, fine. I mean, if Mr. Bal Thackeray does not want Pakistanis in Mumbai, fine, but it goes to another venue. Now, how would people in Chennai feel if there was an Indian team going to Colombo and suddenly they were told by the Sri Lankans that no, Ashwin and Vijay can't play in Colombo because there are strong sentiments here. When they go to Jaffna, we'll let them play.
So what you're saying is that if there was such a volatile sentiment, then the answer was to actually have just moved all of these IPL matches out of Chennai and let Chennai be without the IPL.
No, Chennai can play IPL, but outside Chennai. But because the President of the Board of Control owns that, and money is made by Chennai Super Kings playing in Chennai, you had this ridiculous situation.
Now, Subramanian Swamy, to what G. Parthasarathi is saying, there are two aspects. So one is to say that this is what the cricket authorities could have done. But what about the precedent itself? Because sometimes it is also argued that people should not be punished for the failures of their governments. And this is an argument that sometimes peaceniks apply to India and Pakistan, that hang on, why are you punishing artists, why are you punishing cricketers? In the context of Sri Lanka, some would argue that you can be disappointed with what the Rajapaksa government has done to build on the rights for the Tamil people, but should Sri Lankan cricketers be punished for that?
Well, I've always believed in these matters, there are two principles we have to follow. One is that we must enforce whenever possible that we are Indians first and Tamils or Bengalis afterwards. And when there is a clash between Indian interests and these regional interests, the Indian interest must prevail and the state must enforce that. The second thing is that I, having been in government, I can tell you, and with some knowledge about the situation in Tamil Nadu, the cricket match could have been held with a certain show of force. If they didn't have enough police, which is one of the excuses given by Jayalalithaa, she could have called for the BSF or CRP.
But she didn't want them there.
Precisely. So she was not doing her constitutional duty. And Mr. Manmohan Singh should have sent her a letter under Article 256 of the Constitution, asking her to follow the Constitution. And it's a provision which has never been used except I think twice, and it should have been used by him.
Why? Why was this such a high stakes decision that Manmohan Singh should have gone to the trouble of doing this?
You are enforcing your nationality. This is a national sport. If the Tamils wanted, and that is only some Tamils, a very small number, and now there is nothing at all going on there except a few Naxalites are making noises there. But there is a Tamil sport called Jallikattu, where you get gored by bulls. Now, if they don't want Sri Lankans to come for that, I have no problem. But this is a national sport, and the players are also Tamils, as he said, Ashwin and so many others. So the government should have enforced the nationality principle on Tamil Nadu, and that is important.